back to Sunglasses After Dark. I'm your host, Lauren Tombtone. I am very excited to get into this episode as we will be exploring one of my favorite vampire films, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, as well as having an exciting sit down with Finnish psychobilly musician Panu De La Rocka, and a few songs from me at the end of the show. Let me tell you, it's gonna be a good one. Stick around, friends. Welcome back, friends. Are you ready to take a look at A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night? I warn you, it's not the film you think it is. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night was directed by Anna Lily Amapour in 2014. It features Farsi language with English subtitles. So, for those of you who might not be foreign language film people, I want to put that out there, that is what it is. There's not a dubbed version, and it's still worth your time. This film stars Sheila Vand and Arash Marandi as our main characters of the film. It is set in a fictional Iranian city named Bad City, although actually filmed in Southern California. It draws upon a lot of spaghetti western elements, film noir elements. It also includes a strong feminist theme in a way that, well, you'll have to watch the film to quite understand, but let's say that she selects her victims in a certain specific kind of way. Another element about this film that creates an interesting pacing is its usage of a variety of soundtrack accompaniments, from modern pop to instrumental guitar work. It really has a modern breadth to it that, again, harkens back to those spaghetti westerns with longing shots of solitary characters pitted against a background of industrial isolation. I feel that it is a timely film. I feel that it is also a slightly darkly comedic film, even though it does explore some tough subjects, such as addicted loved ones, abusive family members, gangs, drug life, prostitution. Yet within this, we have a fragile love story that somehow finds its way. And as the film progresses, the tone continues to evolve. I would also like to mention that this film is considered to be the first Iranian vampire western flick. And that in and of itself, I think, really, gives it a certain place in the greater lore of vampire flicks that are out there in a modern sense. There's elements of Lynch in this, there's elements of Jarmusch in this, and again, the pacing is always set with this sort of drifting soundtrack and these really artfully done long shots of industrial sceneries that the characters seem to be unable to escape within Bad City, except for a moment or two. And those moments, you can feel them. We've all had them alone with someone on a deserted street in the middle of the night. And the recurrence of that plot device and that scene device within this film, I think resonates with anyone who, well, is a lover of the night and spends time hanging around on the streets and going to shows or whatever, but you inevitably have that encounter with someone. Maybe at a distance, maybe up close. But it's never what you expect it to be. At night. Well, friends, I do hope that you enjoyed that little exploration and window on A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and I do hope that you check this film out. It is really worth your time. Up next, we have our sit down with Finnish psychobilly musician Panu De La Rocka. Please stick around right here on Sunglasses After Dark with me, Lauren Tombtone. Stories of the demon girl out of this world. All right, friends, welcome back to Sunglasses After Dark. And I would like to introduce my special guest for this episode, Panu De La Rocka. Panu, thank you
Hello.
so much for joining us here.
Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, good morning from Finland. It's still morning time going on in here, Sunday morning.
That's
And as you can
excellent.
see, I'm just drinking my morning coffee here.
And I have my late night water.
Oh,
I've
I
already
have
had.
some water. I have some water here too. Like, do you like my tiki glass?
Ooh, I do like the tiki glass. That is quite fantastic.
Yeah.
I dig it. So there's been a lot of busyness going on for you. We'll say that, I think is an understatement. And we'll get to that because there's quite a bit of stuff happening and coming up in the very near future as well. You
Yeah.
always seem to have you always seem to have some action going on. What I will say is, where did that begin? How long have you been playing guitar?
I've been playing guitar for about 22 years now.
Okay.
And to add to that, I've been singing for about, I don't know, 10 years, 11 years, 12 years or something. And I also started to try and play drums like about a year ago, but that's not related to this project or anything. It's just something I
Okay.
wanted to try out.
Right, right. Um, so experimenting with new stuff is something that's been happening. And I see, I'll fast forward and say the new video.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely some new sounds, some new vibes going on in that video and song that I think kind of set it aside from anything that's been, say, on the last couple releases. Uh,
Oh, really? Is it so
in
different?
my
I don't know.
I think it was I feel like it's a very strong song. I love all the songs, but that one kind of sets aside on a different vibe than the other ones, which it plays with a more, shall I say, romantic edge, than I'm used to hearing from the De La Rocca repertoire, so to speak.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but some of the songs that are released as De La Rocca songs are actually not written by me. Like the whole thing is that I'm doing all the producing, and whoever writes the song or part of the lyrics or all of the lyrics, or maybe I write the lyrics and somebody else like does the music, writes the music, but eventually it will sound like De La Rocca because it goes through the whole production and I would say like the De La Rocca filter. So
Right,
so if it's something that's like writing wise, and in this case, the song Vampire was written by Mr. Dax Dragster from Godless Wicked Creeps fame. So so it's his fault.
aha.
It's
So
totally
so
his fault.
we have someone else to blame.
Yes, this
For
time
the
around, I mean.
for the mischief. I see.
Yeah, but I mean like from the previous full album I did Nightmare Reborn, which was released like 2024. There was there was 3.5 songs on that album that were written by somebody else. And those songs are out of this world because it was written by Dax Traxter, Planet Psycho, which was written by Dax Traxter, and Rattlesnake, which was written by Peter Sandorf. And then when I said that there's like 3.5 songs, um, I mean that we did a song together with Six Six Sinners,
Right.
and that song is kind of like a difficult one because we were throwing around ideas like, hey, maybe let's use these lyrics, or maybe use this, and how about I fix this, and maybe we use this kind of melody in the guitar and whatever. So basically, when it came to the fact that we need to kind of like simplify how we credit the whole song, we went in the direction, like agreed together that, okay, well, let's just put in that I wrote the lyrics and they wrote the music because we really don't remember how it went down. So
Well, that's a great sharing. That's a great shared creative process, and I think that
yeah,
maybe that's what lends to this party atmosphere that's usually on the, that's in the music. It's
yeah.
very high energy. It's very fun, and very over the top. It's always just, it's got the throttle all the way forward, and I think that's
Yeah,
something, like I said again, with musically, the new song is very much in line with that. But then thematically, like I said, I love the new angle that this lends in that bigger repertoire of stuff.
yeah,
And it seems like you guys had a blast recording the video too.
yeah, absolutely. It was filmed half in Denmark and half in Finland,
Oh,
and we started with the Danish stuff
okay.
because obviously Dags lives in this old town called Rue in Denmark, and they had this old kind of like a chapel building in there, and they got the permit to use it for the video. So we made this whole plan like remotely that, okay, what's the stuff you're gonna wear, and are you gonna use some kind of like a white makeup to make you pale, like make you look like a vampire? And then they went there and did some test footage many times, and we went through all the test footage and kind of like a write notes. And when the day came that they actually filmed in there, after I got the footage, obviously we needed to kind of like start looking at what we can do and how we can do here in Finland to kind of like do the filler footage for that one to make it match as good as possible. And yeah, that's what we did. Like, I would have wanted to be there in Denmark, but obviously it would have added to the budget of the music video. So
Well, it came out great, and I've watched it a few times now, and I'll definitely be watching it again. The song and video are vampire, but or vampire,
yeah,
depending on how you want to maybe pronounce it.
yeah.
If it's, if you want to be maybe correct in the uh verbiage. And I'll say it's interesting in that, are you familiar with the film Vampire?
Um, when was it made?
It is one of the classic films, and it kind of came out at the same time as Nosferatu. And it,
Okay.
and
I have to admit that I'm more familiar with Nosferatu and all the different remakes.
most people are. I'd only come across it fairly recently.
Hmm.
Look it up. It's a pretty interesting one. It basically is Nosferatu, and that's why it got shelved for a long time due to copyright reasons. Even at the time, I mean, Nosferatu went through all the issues with Bram Stoker's estate
Yeah.
being like, nah, nah, nah. And so this came on the heels of that, and it was like sort of a double whammy. So it got shelved for a really long time, but it's out there on I think a lot of streaming services. Maybe
Okay,
not
sure.
the maybe not the best, but if you like the Nosferatu vibe, it's a neat take on
Hmm.
it.
I need to
Um,
look it up. I need to look it up definitely.
so on speaking of stuff that obviously is influences, horror movies I think would be an early influence on you. Who was one of
Yeah.
your earliest musical influences?
That's a tough one because actually I knew that you are going to ask that, and because of that, I was trying to think like like go back in time in my head, Back to the Future, and think about like how do people usually get those influences like in general? And I'm thinking that from all the people I know, usually it goes in the way that when you have kind of like a big brother or big sister or a big family, they kind of like give you the early influences when you're just trying to be as cool as them and try to
Hmm.
follow in their footsteps, and they listen to rock or punk or metal or whatever. But I never had that because I'm the only child. So the thing for me was probably a Finnish version of MTV. Uh, it was called Jyrki, and probably the same thing with the kids in US with MTV back in the day. I mean, was that you always had to be there. Like when you knew that it's coming from the TV, you have to go to check it out and try to get all the influence from there. Um, but in Finland, it was always like a airing for, was it 1 or 2 hours every day after school. So you had to hurry back from school to the t to on front of the TV to see this program, and they would play everything from kind of like electric music to pop, metal, punk. They would just put it all out there, and it was so interesting. And basically, I would just suck it all in. and
That's
and
fantastic.
and I was thinking that during that time, I basically listened to everything and anything I could get my hands on. But when I started playing guitar, I got into more and more and more metal music all the time. Basically, it went to the point that I was first playing in a thrash metal band. Later,
Oh,
I was
wow.
playing in a grindcore band and in a death metal band. And the tuning would keep going lower and lower, and the
Yeah,
songs
right.
were going faster and faster to the point that then just something happens and just something happens and you're like, damn, I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore. And then I realized that I'm going back to the basics, just listening to everything and anything, and probably some of the artists that I used to listen during the music television thing.
Hmm.
So, but nowadays I like to think every time somebody asks me like, what genre of music do you usually listen to? I usually say like a simplified answer is that a good song is a good song. It doesn't matter what the genre is.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So your ear is constantly open.
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
I will say then, are there any bands in your to say local area might be too small. Are there
Mm.
any specific bands in Finland maybe that people haven't heard of that you're into? Is there somebody that's got your ear that's nobody's heard of right now that maybe you're like, hmm.
That's a really tough question, and yeah, there's like a tons of like really really gifted bands out there in Finland too. But right now, I just kind of put my finger on it, like
Well,
uh,
that sounds like we should be keeping our eye there on Finland, that there are more than
absolutely,
one that are about to come popping out
yeah.
of the woodwork, perhaps.
But I don't know what kind of like reputation, like music wise, I don't know what kind of reputation you guys think that Finnish people have. But definitely like internationally, people think that like Finland is a metal country and maybe a little bit rock country too. So probably anything metal or rock coming from Finland is probably something that people should always keep their eyes on.
That's definitely my first association, honestly, years ago, prior to encountering your music, honestly, was
Yeah.
most of the music I heard coming out of Finland was really extreme metal, really, 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 really edgy stuff. I mean, but I don't know, at the same time, it was maybe a little different than some of the same elements I hear coming from other countries. And Finnish stuff has a weird smartness to it,
Hmm.
that I think it shows in all Finnish music. That is something I will say. There's just a smartness, just like I think there's an underlying humor in all Japanese music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they're doing. There's always that moment that they hit where you know they're having a laugh, and they do it in every song. I don't care if it's the most metal song ever.
Yeah.
So it's
But
just a
yeah,
thing.
but I do want to add one thing to my origin story, like how I ended up doing the kind of music that I do right now.
Yes.
Um, the story goes that back in the day, even when I was listening to metal music, um, I obviously was still trying to listen to other genres too, but it was mostly metal music at the time. But something that people were I don't know, not maybe saying it to my face, but kind of having a little bit problems with was that when I was hanging around in the metal groups, I was still listening to stuff like Stray Cats or some
Uh-huh.
other like rockabilly music and all this kind of stuff, and people just sometimes gave me the what do you call it, the something eye
Cold shoulder.
related.
We'll call it the cold shoulder.
Maybe. So 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 anyways, when I stopped playing in metal bands, I was still kind of like really interested in playing guitar and finding kind of like a totally new approach to something else. And I started learning new stuff, a new kind of like a theory stuff, and something that I had dismissed before totally. And I was kind of like opening my eyes to new ways of learning guitar and doing new stuff. And obviously, because I was such a fan of rockabilly before, I tried to start playing some rockabilly riffs and also maybe singing a little bit of the rockabilly stuff. But because I had that very strong kind of like a metal influence in the back of my head, I just had to turn on a little bit more distortion and distort my voice just a little bit more and kind of like a speed the songs up just a little bit more again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point I was like realizing that, hey, this sounds awfully familiar to something else. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So basically that's where we are today. Like that's how I stepped into that kind of stuff. And but obviously, since that, I've been listening to a lot of punk rock, surf music, country, western, all this kind of stuff. And where we are right now, and what you hear right now from my music, is just a good blend of all kinds of things.
I would agree with that very much so. You do incorporate the bigger umbrella of what we could call rock and roll, as
Yeah,
opposed to say just rock music as more of a pop thing. Rock and roll being something that is by definition a root music,
yeah,
and is also a part of other root musics. So things that are rock and roll, like punk, are they're part of the rock and roll lineage because of how they incorporate that.
yeah.
And so with that being said, punk these days, do you still think punk is relevant in a way that it was in the past, or do you think punk is relevant in a new way?
Um, I think that it has never been not relevant.
Good point. Good. Some people would argue that, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. And I'm not getting
I
to.
am not one of those people.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I'm not going into the political side of that thing, but that thing
No,
is
just
always, it's
it's
always
influence.
relevant in many ways, and
It's influence in culture, it's influence in music. Because I feel personally what I see in music in general is
mm,
punk, not in a necessarily a sound way, but punk in an aesthetic way, coming back in a way that people are pushing things forward in their genres.
yeah,
That's punk to me. I think that's what punk was when it started, was people just trying to push the boundaries in random ways. Not
yeah,
specific. That was the whole thing, not specific
yeah,
ways. Nobody
yeah,
really these were people who chose to do it. That didn't mean they thought they could do it. It didn't mean anybody else thought they could do it. It didn't mean they had the training to do it. And so now I feel like we've come full circle with that because of information age, technology. Almost everybody's got a home studio now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
again, where now anybody, we'll say anybody of any age, is like age isn't even a thing anymore. If you've
yeah,
got the time and you've got the ingenuity or the drive to do it, now people are able to start taking these multiple genres, doing things with genres and sounds that people hadn't done or wouldn't even thought to do, or no
yeah,
one would
yeah,
let them do before.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think it's really exciting in that sense,
yeah.
and your
But
music is
but
definitely a part of that.
but I want to go back to what you said about, like, the technology and the access side of things. Like, that's definitely something that I agree. Like, of course there are some, like, exceptions, but mostly, like, let's say 90% of people, um, access to technology. I would say that nowadays, with all the things available to everybody, mostly for free, I would say, if you want to be creative, if you know you have something to give, like, there is no excuse. Like, there's some way you can
Just
put
get
it
out
out
and do it,
there.
right?
Yeah. There's some way to put it out there for other people to hear.
Look up a YouTube video. There's a tutorial somewhere, even if
Yeah.
you don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
Look
For
at
for
look at me
example,
right now.
yeah, yeah. For example, um, most of the vocals I recorded for the Nightmare Reborn album and the new stuff, even some of the stuff that you even haven't heard before
Uh-huh.
yet, most of my vocals were recorded in the public library here in Tampere, in my
I
town.
saw some posts about that. That's really
Yeah,
neat.
and basically the only thing you need is a library card. I mean, of course, I don't know how it works in other places, but we have this kind of like a luxury here in my city, my country, many cities, that we have actual proper studio rooms in the library. And everybody who has a library card, which is free, we can just go there to this kind of like reservation app and just for free, like a book, like a 2 hour session from the studio and just go there and record the music. So that's how I've been doing most of the vocals.
In my city where I live, Spokane, Washington,
Yeah.
um, there is actually something similar, and I don't know exactly all the details. It's a fairly new endeavor, but our library as well now has recording studio, and there's actually a city record label. It's
Oh,
yeah, it's
that's
a
cool.
pretty.
That's cool. That's the next level.
I don't, and it's just a streaming record label thing, but it's another, it's another community connected level.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what's come of it in the last few years. I had heard some things about it, and then I've kind of heard nothing about it, but I know it's still there. So it might be kind of one of those things that, hey, for all you Pacific Northwest people, check out the library here in Spokane. You never know what you might find. Um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
that much being said, I want to ask you an interesting question. What is the weirdest thing that happened to you at a gig when you were playing?
You mean like with De La Rocka or in
Yeah,
general?
not like a gig you were seeing, a gig you were playing.
Well, probably a lot of different things during the years, and I do include all the previous bands that I've played with, but I still want to give like a fairly recent
Yes.
example. I was thinking that this one time we were supposed to open up for this big band, which is not from the same genre, by the way, and it's internationally known Finnish band. I'm not going to the details, but those who know. Um, we were invited to play this like a gig in this one event at this one very specific part of Finland. And when I went there, like before the gig to see the venue, it was like an outside venue, and they had built this really cool looking kind of like a stage outside, and they were so proud of the stage, like. Look, you're gonna be playing there. You're gonna be playing there, and it's gonna be so cool. And I was like, yeah, sure. That's gonna be actually like really really nice. And obviously, I took some pictures of the venue and I sent the pictures to my guys, and we were so excited. And I think something like a 1 or 2 days before the actual gig, like a many months later, um, I heard that the organizer had gotten a message from the headlining band saying that they have in their contract terms that no other band shall step their foot on the same stage as they.
Oh, okay. That
And I guess there was like a technical reason for it because they had a lot of equipment on the stage, and I do mean like a flashing lights, these big kind of like lights. The whole
fair,
stage was
fair.
filled with those lights. And I guess the whole thing is that they were afraid that if something happens there, like they're gonna have a damage of like thousands and thousands and thousands of euros if something goes wrong with the lights or whatever. So
That would be
I
bad.
so I kind of like get it, but still like I remember the whole like owner of the venue being so proud that look at our stage, you're gonna play there, it's gonna be so awesome and blah 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 blah. And then a couple of days before the gig, this happens like, yeah, guys, remember that stage? Like you're not gonna play in there. And we ended up playing on a terrace next to the stage, and we had to set up our like a stage backdrop. And so I was asking like, hey, do you have like a hammer and a few nails so we can put it on the fucking terrace and set up all the equipment there? And there we played. And there was this one guy who was smoking like a, what do you call it, like an electric cigarette.
Uh-huh.
So during some songs, and there's actually even a photo of this happening. Like
Was he
we
your
were
personal
playing,
fog machine?
yeah. Like we were playing, and the crowd who was on the terrace were like really excited and really happy. And on top of that, like one guy keeps coming, crouching next to the stage and blowing blowing the electric
Love it.
cigar.
Yes. Yes. I
And
love it.
actually, at the very end of the gig, I also remember that somebody had accidentally, because they had like the electricity coming to the terrace from inside of this. There was kind of like a bar there or a restaurant there. So I think that there was just one normal electric switch on the wall, which was controlling the electric to that terrace, and probably somebody accidentally just kind of like a lead to the wall. And at the very ending of our show, like suddenly just all the electrics went off, and we were just playing acoustically, like looking at each other like, should we go on? Okay, we'll move on. And we'll just kept playing until like first the bass comes popping up and then the guitars come popping up and then I can hear my voice again.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
so that was crazy, but well, it was fun and we made a lot of new friends and we got paid, so you know, it's all good. It's rock and
It's
roll.
a win-win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's a great story though.
And
I
it's
love
rock and
that.
roll.
I love it. Now, we are coming very close to the end of time here,
Yep.
unfortunately. Real quick, what is up next for De La Rocka?
Okay, so I'm not entirely sure like when this interview is coming online. Can you?
I plan to release this the first week of May.
Okay, sure. So at that point, everything that I've planned has already come out. So basically, the music video, which we're talking about, is out there. It's out there right now. But the whole thing, the release, which is actually two songs, The Vampire and this other song called Lady Luck.
Aha!
Um, the whole like a two-song release is coming out, and it's by the time that this comes online, it's already out there on all the streaming platforms.
Excellent.
And there's gonna be a vinyl, and I'm not sure, entirely sure, if that's already out by the time this interview goes online. But around the same time, there's gonna be a very limited, like a 200 copies vinyl for those two songs. And if somebody is interested, you can get it directly from me. And the next plan is to play a couple of gigs this year, but nothing big because I think it's good time to kind of like plan for the new stuff. And I already know that we are going back to Germany, for example, next year, and planning some big gigs for next year. Next year is going to be more active in the gigs section, I think.
Fantastic. Well, I will definitely put links at the end of this episode for anybody who's interested in finding the music and hopefully getting their hands on some of these limited edition vinyls. On the other hand, if they're all gone by the time this comes out, congratulations at the same time. I wouldn't doubt that they sell out very quickly.
Well, let's
Um,
see.
I hope so. That much being said, thank you so much for sitting down with me here and taking time to do this little interview on Sunglasses After Dark.
Thanks for inviting me. And I feel that the whole time we had for today, like it just went in a whole, like a blink of an eye. Like, wow, is it that time already?
It does go fast. We will
Yeah,
have to sit down again, perhaps in the future, and catch up and see what's new for
absolutely.
you there.
I would love that.
All right. Well, thank you again, Panu. And for the rest of you, stick around. There's more excitement to come here on Sunglasses After Dark with me, Lauren Tombtone.
See you later.
All right, friends. Take a trip back in time with me, won't you? This is my little ode to Sanford Clark. Let's get still as the night, shall we? Still as the night, cold as the ground, my baby's gone. Don't think I'll see her again. There's double stars, don't let me until she's back. My heart will beat right, friends, for my next song, enjoy my little ode to love and rockets. And trust me, it's no big deal. Set me up again, you make me lose my breath. Just don't know what I'm gonna do with you. Feet are still on the ground, so you put me down. Just don't know what I'm gonna do with you. You're no big deal. No big deal. I got into a fight. Got into it tonight. Just don't know what I'm gonna do with you. Feet are still on the ground. So you put me down. I just don't know what I'm gonna do with you. I tell you, I know you're no big deal. No big deal. You know you broke my heart, and that was just the start. I know just what I'm gonna do with you. You know you broke my heart, and that was just the start. I know just what I'm gonna do with you. I tell you, you're no big deal. No big deal. Oh! Well, friends, I do hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you all. And we are already hard at work on our next episode, coming your way in June. So keep an eye out for updates on that, as I guarantee you it will be another exciting one, full of surprises, and hopefully something you have not seen before. Until then, remember, the camera is always rolling, life is shot in wide angle. You are the director, you are the writer, you are the hero, or the heroine. Whatever the story, make it a good one. It's yours. And as always, until next time, stay fabulous, darlings.